All right, welcome, Alliance Nation. Alex Abuyuan coming at you, and we're excited to be here with y'all. Thank you, Andy and Jane, for trusting me with the team. And like I've told my guests on the call, my financial future rests on what they're going to share with you today. No pressure. Anyway, I'm very excited to get this call going. But before we get everything going, I know all y'all that are CFG writers are waiting on pins and needles on finding out who Tia is going to draw for the big drawing. Of course, the big drawing, the humongous drawing, the mega drawing is at View from the Edge, and hopefully you'll be there to witness it. Do you have to be present to win, Tia? I think maybe. Anyway, Tia,
Oh, yeah.
all right.
Yeah, that's how it works. So for today, you don't have to be present to win because we're just going to draw some balls out of a spinny thingy and go from there. So this is Ella, and she is going to pick three balls for us for this week's drawing. So go ahead, Ella.
Just like bingo.
Even better, though, because it comes with lots of money. All right, let's see who we've got this week. So after this week, we have one more week of drawings, and then, like you said, Out of View from the Edge, we'll do the next one. So number 446. Woo. All right, MK Hale, woohoo! $100 for you this week. Number 457. That's ironic. Let's see. You've got Megan Wood, woohoo! And number 430, Tatiana Jackson. Congratulations, guys. We'll tell you, and your money will show up in your ARC account.
And do I get glow bonus on those winnings there, Tia? Is that
I don't know.
not that I'm counting, but anyway, gang, congratulations to the winners. Y'all are winners. And thank you, CFG, for sponsoring that. CFG is one of our best buddy companies that one of our go-to companies. So appreciate Todd and the gang at CFG for sponsoring that. Well, gang, hey, I think, what was it promoted that I was going to talk about um, beer and whiskey and some of the finer points of bourbon and just kidding. Servant leadership. And what a great topic. It's a topic that's really near and dear to my heart. And I'll be talking a lot about it later on today. But I think the evidence of servant leadership, really, to me, in my opinion, a humble but accurate opinion, is who do we bring on? Who do we bring on that wants this business to work for them? And then how do we influence them to move forward to help them get what they want? And I'm just excited to introduce you to some brand new people. Some don't even have their licenses, but they're excited about our opportunity. But here's the key: their upline, their manager, their leader, not manager. Actually, let's make a distinction. You don't manage people, you manage your checkbook, you manage your spreadsheets. You lead people. You don't manage people, you manage things, but you lead people. And that's probably the biggest underlying foundational concept that you have to get in your head. You lead people, you manage things. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. But they were able to make one of the most important decisions in getting started with us in the Alliance is to come to their first event. And I think in some cases we have some of our agents coming to their second and so on. But real key is these people stepped out on faith, and I'd like to introduce them to you, man. And maybe some of y'all that are thinking about, should I go? Should I stay or should I go? You know, you probably don't even know who Tom Petty is, but anyway, I'm dating myself. Right, Patrick? Anyway, hopefully, after we introduce you to the fired up agents that we're bringing to the View from the Edge next week, that you might make the same leap of faith, the same decision. You're not going to let money be a factor. You're not going to let babysitter excuses be a factor. You're not going to let, your third cousin once removed wedding to be an excuse. you're actually going to prioritize your wants, needs, and desires of what you want out of the business above all those other things like these agents have. So I'm really excited to introduce you to these new folks on our team. Great examples, in my opinion. We'll get to know them a little bit. So the first group I want to bring on is Jonathan Earl's team. So let me introduce you to Jonathan Earls. Jonathan came into our group last year, but our relationship had started like 5, 6 years before. I'll let Jonathan talk about that, but Jonathan has been kicking butt. He made the Alaskan cruise in about the last 5 months of the year last year. And I'll let him talk about his story. But Jonathan Earls, man, talk about how you found us and how we re-engaged. And one of the key things maybe that I did for you when you first got, like in a few days after you first we met the second time around.
Yeah. Hey, Alex, what's up, Alliance Nation? Jonathan Earls, West Kentucky. So Alex and I met a little over 6 years ago, right before I started my financial services career. And I ended up going with a local insurance company. I went captive, is what we call it. And 6 years later, just decided, I was having success, but wasn't really happy or expanding like I wanted to, and also found a different way to do the business. Wanted to go the fiduciary route and also wanted to go independent on the insurance side, of course. So reached back out to Alex. Within 2 weeks, we met in Louisville on a Monday. And on my way home, Alex texted me and said, "Hey, do you want to go to South Beach, Miami this weekend?" And yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go. So, I think he called me and I said, "Hey, will you text that to me so I can send this to my wife so she knows that I didn't meet some stranger. Now we're heading to South Beach." So, we didn't look back. We went to the convention, and I knew from my first experience at Family Reunion that these conventions are where the winners hang out. And seeing some of the people going across stage, seeing some of the money they've made, some of the backgrounds they came from, and me having prior experience, I thought, oh my gosh, there's welders, there's contractors, teachers in this business kicking butt. And if you've been in the captive world before, they try to fit you in this bubble, right? They try to make you this certain type of advisor, and other people may not fit that. And something I noticed about the Alliance and especially the conventions is if you want to work, if you want to expand, doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you look like, you can do it here. So that's how I found the Alliance, and it's why these conventions are a standard or a non-negotiable for me, at least.
Yeah, and then you showed up to Breakthrough, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of a kick butt event. So how many people did you bring to Breakthrough?
So it was just me at Breakthrough. And then I was invited to the leadership cabin, which really exposed me to what people were doing, how they were winning, and what I wasn't doing. And I said, then I'm never going to an event alone again. So NatCon was that next event for me. I brought two guys to NatCon with me. And we've got 4 coming to View from the Edge. So
yeah, man. So you basically doubled your team. That, hey, man, if we keep doubling every event, that should rock. So let's introduce Alliance Nation to some of these new people that you got coming on.
Yeah, I will. So I'll introduce Miss Erica first, ladies first. Was raised in the South, right? So Miss Erica. So actually, we worked together, not on the same team. She worked in a different team at this captive agency I was at, or insurance company, and we saw each other at a soccer practice or game for our kids, and just got to talking, and one thing led to another, and here she is. So Erica has been with us for a few months. This will be her first event. I don't know if you want to let her talk now or if you want me to introduce. Gavin and Deontay first. Okay,
Well,
go ahead,
actually,
Erica.
let's talk to Erica. So, Erica,
Okay.
so your
Hello,
background,
hello.
how long had you worked for the previous agency before you started working with us?
I was there for about a year and a half. Yeah.
Okay. And
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, and so what was it about Jonathan talking to you about us that made you think that we might be a better option for you?
Well, like you said, we were with a captive agency and it wasn't a fit. I wasn't happy where I was at. And like you said, like I just hadn't noticed a lot of growth. I wasn't really where I wanted to be. I wasn't growing there. And so I saw him at the soccer practice and we kind of talked a little bit, and he ended up calling me a couple weeks later. And I saw, of course, I knew that he was successful where he was, with our captive agency, but I also, kind of saw, so I trusted him very much. And I saw, how successful he was, doing here. And it just was a different feeling and it just seemed to be a better fit. So I really am excited to be here.
It's awesome.
It
And
took
so,
me a little while, but I'm excited.
so when did you find out about the conference View from the Edge?
We had kind of talked a little bit about it. It was in my mind, but it wasn't really until I went to the hotspot in Louisville last month, and it was awesome. I got to meet Mike and Noelle, and they even brought their daughter along, which I got to hear from her, and she was awesome too. And it was just like it was incredible, and I got to listen in to them, and it was just well. Their daughter, what I found to be interesting about her was that she had told me that she had started attending events with her parents when she was a young child. I don't remember exactly what her name was. Um, Gosh, I can't remember.
Said
I met so
Emily?
many people that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the career move I need to make. I need to be bringing my kids here to these events. But no, I loved the hotspot so much, and I got so much from it. And but at the same time, I didn't make those connections that I wanted to make. I wanted to do a little more networking. I wanted to get to know the speakers a little more. And they had a Top Golf afterwards, which I didn't get to attend. I had to come back home because I have three little ones. But I knew then I was like, I gotta go to this because what I got from this hotspot, if it's anything like that, then I know it's going to be great. And I know I'm going to get so much from it. It's just going to be life changing. And so it was the hotspot that really kind of, changed, which it was, like I said, it was in my mind, but I was kind of like, I was kind of on the fence. When I went to that hotspot, I just got amped up. And that was really the turning point that motivated me. Like I was saying a while ago, I kind of started off slow. It took me a little while. And that's something that I wished I would have done different. I wished I would have hopped on board in December because I mean, there's no telling where I would be. But it was the hotspot that did it for me. So
That's awesome.
it was a great event.
That is sort of the bridge, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes people are promoting functions right from the get-go. It's like, well, let's get people started getting around the Alliance culture by getting them to hotspots, boot camps. That's why we're so big on the hotspot and event page on the ARC, so we can promote the upcoming hotspots to our people so they can get a taste, just a little taste of what a big event will be. And so it did exactly what we were hoping.
Yeah.
for
Oh, the
you.
hotspot wasn't enough. I was just like,
Right.
because I really wanted to connect with them and talk to them. And I also had some questions and stuff. And it was just like, I gotta have more. But it really did motivate me. And I was like, gosh, if the national can, if it's anything, if the NatCon is anything like that, then I gotta go.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you. Welcome to the team.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right. Who's next, Jonathan?
Yeah, so next up, I'm gonna go with Deontay. So they say you want to win, do what the winners are doing. So on the recruiting side, everyone's like, hey, ZipRecruiter ads, and there's X amount of things that you do when you're building a team, and ZipRecruiter was one of the things that I bought in early, President's Club, and it's like, well, hey, if I want to hire in other places, Nashville, I'm there quite often, so I put an ad there and found Deontay. Deontay, I'll let him give you his background, was at a credit union before, but it was crazy. Deontay, I'll let you tell a story, but Alliance is everybody's Deontay Vincent.
All right, Deontay,
Hey,
man.
hey, everybody. Hey, Alliance Nation. Much obliged. I'm ecstatic to be here on the Zoom call. I appreciate being invited on.
Yeah. So how'd you
Um,
find us and what's your background?
so yeah, I was in management at a credit union, and I was just kind of dissatisfied with what I was doing. I felt, I, I don't know. I just wanted to. I was already seeking self-employment. So I answered that ZipRecruiter ad, and then boom, Jonathan calls me. And he wasn't the only person that called me, but he was the one that caught my attention. I called the vibe. He sounded like a very knowledgeable and exciting guy. So I was like, you know what? Let me give him a try. And I have zero regrets. Zero
That's
regrets.
awesome,
I'm glad
man.
I did. He got me into the alliance, which you guys have been amazing, very knowledgeable people. Answer whenever anyone needs help. Man, it's just been very exciting. So this stuff happened in December. So I got my license, and he was like, "Bro, you have to go to NatCon. Like, there's no way you can miss this." And I'm like, I just left my job, but you know what? Let me take the risk. So I went to NatCon, and Erica, NatCon is like that. Literally, is like that. It changed me. It changed me. I had so much fun there. One, obtained so much knowledge and networked with so many people, so many other agents. It was a very valuable experience.
That's so
Very
awesome.
valuable.
So when you were offered the opportunity to come to View from the Edge, was it any doubt in your mind that you needed to be there?
Oh no. Oh no. I decided I went there when y'all announced it at NatCon. I was like, okay, when's the next event? Okay, View from the Edge, I'm there. So I will definitely be there next weekend. I'm very excited for that as well.
That's awesome, dude. And so you're married and how many kids?
I have two kids. I have a 3-year-old and I have a 9-month-old.
Oh man, a youngin, two youngins.
Yeah,
Awesome,
yeah,
man.
yeah. They drive me crazy. Have me running around here like chicken with his head cut off, But hey, that's the life.
That's the life.
That-
Well, what you're doing and what Erica's doing is you're building a future for your family where you're no longer going to be, slave to a job, but you'll have the freedom and the income to be able to be with them and support them in anything they want to pursue. That's the beautiful thing about this,
and
have
helping people in the process.
helping people in the process. Amen,
Mhm.
brother. Great job, man. Good stuff.
Yes.
We're excited to see you next week, man.
Likewise, likewise. Can't wait to see everybody.
Awesome, awesome. All right, Jonathan. Looks like we got
All
Gavin.
right. Yeah, so save the best for last. No, I'm joking, Deontay, Erica. So Gavin, I've known Gavin going on 7 years now. So Gavin and I met through CrossFit. He is a level 1 certified and CrossFit coach at the gym I go to. And Gavin approached me months ago and said, "Hey, this insurance thing you got going on, and you think that's something I can do?" And I love that question because when I got into the business, I thought I had no business in the business. I was making 35 grand a year, working 60 hours a week at a Dodge dealership. When I asked that question, I thought it was going to be a no, man. You are where you are. So being able to introduce people to this business wherever you are in life is extremely important to me and makes me really happy. So when he asked this, I was like, yes, please, because anyone can do this business, right? So if they want to. So Gavin's been licensed for 2 weeks, maybe. And he's written, I think, 2 or 3 policies. I mean, he's fired up. Gavin, welcome, Alliance. Here we go. Let's go,
Yeah,
Gavin.
Gavin, man. I know Gavin and I got kicked off last week, had a chance to meet each other, and it's just him and his dog. He's got
Yeah.
very low overhead. And so what, you've known Jonathan for a while. What was it about Jonathan that made you think that, this was possibly a great career move and why partnering up with Jonathan was the right move for you?
I really don't have an answer for that. It was more, I watched Jonathan be so successful in his life. Anything and everything he decided, he said, I'm doing this. is something I watched him grow with, especially being in the gym and him talking about his outside life. He was loving it. So I knew whatever he was doing was the right thing for him to be doing. And as you know, me and you have talked, and Earl's knows for sure, the past 2 years of my life, I've made very little money. I'm very much scraping by, which 22 years old, it's the life that I've chosen to live, and I'm accepting of it, but I'm ready to move on to that next step. And I knew that he was the man to be following for it.
That's great, dude. So what, this crazy thing called View from the Edge, what made you pull the trigger on coming out?
Same thing is Jonathan Earl said, "Hey, I think you should be going to this. I think this would be a great thing for someone who I have zero sales experience. This is not something that I've ever been a part of." And he was just like, "Hey, this would be great for you. And if you trust me, I think you should come and take a leap with me." And I said, "Absolutely, 100%. Whatever you say, I'm in."
I love that. Kind of the power of influence when you have built a relationship over time. Plus, he's proven to you by what he's done that he was worthy of, he earned the authority to be able to, lead you to making the right decision for you and your business. So that's awesome, man. And you come out of the CrossFit coaching type of industry. I'm sure you can relate to the power of coaching people to get them the results that they're looking for, right?
Absolutely. And I've told him this multiple times is the coach who trained me to get me to where I'm at. Earl's talks very much like him. The way he empowers me to do things that are great for me, they're very similar, and it just draws me into, hey, I can do better. We're gonna do better because I'm being taught how to do better. And it's just been a
Absolutely.
great ride.
It's great, man. Well, dude, Gavin, can't wait to meet you personally next week. And we'll introduce you to all the other folks. I think actually Spencer's a CrossFit guy too, Spencer Albright. And we've got other people that are in, physical training. And yeah, you can just look around and you see the guys that are like built out, but
Can't wait.
anyway. Well, thanks, dude. Thanks, Jonathan, man. What a great team. Can't wait to see you all out there at View from the Edge. And to me, Jonathan certainly exhibits the qualities of a servant leader, because not only does he provide the example by going to these events, but he's encouraging the people that he puts under his influence to also come as well. And that's how you grow. That's how you grow a team. So let's bring on, man, Patrick Connors, representing Justin Margison, one of our leaders in the Connors organization. Patrick.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't see
Cool.
you yet.
Justin Margison's family is at a church retreat all weekend, or all week, so he just couldn't be here. But he did have a few people he wanted to introduce to you. And if you don't know me, I'm Patrick Connors. Alex and his wife Ginny brought me into their lives back in like 1996, and I don't know where I'd be without you guys. Thank you.
Well, I mean,
So
he was one of the original OGs, the original gangsters, of the Alliance. And he came down with Noel to our first event down Raleigh, North Carolina, with Andy Albright and 50 other people, which was really, if you ever called it a big bang, that was our big bang for the Avian Financial Group. It was bringing Patrick and Noel and, was it 10 other people? The number keeps growing, but all in a van. We had a great time, and Patrick's been a loyal, trusted friend for all these years, and so one of the premier managers in the Alliance. So let it rip, Patrick.
cool. Don't say that around my 10-year-old boy, because that means something different to him. But anyway, Jonathan, your team is smoking, dude. I'm so
Pull my
excited.
finger.
Yeah, pull my finger. That's his favorite thing. So, but Gavin and Deontay and Erica, I'm excited to meet you again, Deontay, at the conference. But I'm excited to meet all your new people, Jonathan. Your team is impressive, really impressive. Servant leader for sure. Okay, so Justin, he's got some people on his team who are duplicating him now, they're calling through ZipRecruiters. Of course, they're doing warm market, whoever they're running into, clients. And he's got a guy named Derek O'Neill. And I hope you guys all get to meet him next week. And Derek, I don't know if JC was his very first person who responded to a ZipRecruiter ad, but it was like the first person he had a real conversation with. And so I told Derek afterwards, this is how it works with every person you talk to. But joking. So anyway, JC talked to Derek, and then Derek immediately connected him to Justin because Derek didn't know what to do yet. And next thing you know, they asked me to join, and I was impressed with this guy from the first words out of his mouth. Alex, he reminds me of a lot of those people in that room you were talking about, like the young Adam Katz and the young, really Stephen Davies wasn't there, but that's what he reminds me of because he's the age they were when they started. So here's JC Griego from Texas.
JC in the house.
Hello, and the place to be, JC, John Cena, Jose Cuervo, or I'm just chilling, whatever you guys decide those two letters stand for. I do want to thank Patrick. Thank you very much for the warm introduction. The beginning to the story is exactly what he said. I was scrolling through ZipRecruiter, just looking for my next opportunities, and I'd happened to connect with the individual by the name of Derek. I'll be honest, the first time, I ignored the email. In my mind, I'm thinking, he answered too quick, this is too good to be true, X, Y, Z, this, that, and the third. He emailed me the second time, the very next day. Right away, I'm thinking, okay, this is a sign from something, either a higher power, the space dust that's floating in the sky above the moon. Something is telling me to answer this call. We connected very, very quickly after that. And exactly like what Patrick said, it was a genuine conversation. And I think that's what kept me on the phone. It was real, it was honest, it was direct. He gave me a roadmap and he told me the opportunity is all yours. Jump on it if you want. We'll be here every step of the way. And XYZ, a week and a half later, here we are.
That's
Wow,
a week
dude.
and a half ago.
That's
week and a half
crazy.
ago, guys.
That's crazy. So I'm thinking of another JC name, Jesus Christ, but we certainly don't want to like put you on that same platform. But dude, so tell us your background, man. Like, where do you live again?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Houston. All right, Houston in the house. So what were you doing in your career?
So early on in my years, I have about 7, almost 8 years in supply chain logistical management, anything from a small warehouse with 5 employees up until an entire regional district, carrying up to about 300, 4, 5, sometimes 7 to 800 employees. This starts all the way from I make it a point to work myself up from the ground up. I want to know exactly what the guy at the bottom is doing because he might know a method that my administrative focus and mindset might not really connect 2 and 2 on. It started with Amazon. Actually, within the first 3 months of me jumping onto Amazon as an entry-level associate, I was promoted to floor supervisor. From there, I moved out to Miami, Florida. I operated 3 of the facilities out of there, both in warehouse as well as last mile and cross-dock functionalities, ending out in Houston, not in Houston, apologies, in Austin, Texas. There, I helped set up their logistical systems for the Amazon logistics deliveries. At the time, I felt like I had learned as much as I could from that company. And at that time, I was about 22 years old, very young. I'm in a spot and have an opportunity that not many 20-year-olds have. Let me break off. Let me join a startup and learn even more. Learn from people that I don't know who have different perspectives, which is exactly what I've done. Up until before my most recent role right now, I was actually an operations manager for a startup front porch recycling company based out of Portland, Oregon. They charged me with setting up their warehouse, hiring, firing, training, as well as acquiring new interest through self-generated leads. Apologies, I'm a little nervous. Y'all are such beautiful people. But as I was saying, self-generated as well as neighborhood leads. Connecting with my fellow neighbor, ensuring that the recycling needs of the people who are interested in the service are being fulfilled to like the 110 percentile. You know what I mean? From there, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So with such a tremendous background, and obviously you're promoted because of your abilities and skill quickly, what caused you to make the transition into life insurance sales? Like, it seems like kind of a left turn, from someone going down the career path of logistics and supply chain.
Got you. Well, the position, the one that we're, all here about, it was advertised to me as sort of a part-time opportunity. But even in my mind beforehand, I was thinking, it's advertised as part-time, but I know there is a full-time capability. There is a way for me to make my life, form and build and grow around this, which is what's leading me here. Everything was laid out to me in a roadmap.
That's awesome, man. So you made the decision to come out to View from the Edge, again, leap of faith. What was it that triggered you? How'd you hear about it? What triggered you to say yes?
Derek, Margison, and my man Patrick right here. Normally I lead with skepticism just because, some things are too good to be true. But I gave these guys the opportunity. I gave them the conversation, and I wanted to hear what they had to say. Conversation was so good that without me very much knowing about the company, about the organization and the opportunities present, I decided to take that leap of faith and just jump for it. The best things in life come from that risk.
That's great, dude. I love your insight. One thing that I've learned in my career is that when you have people believe in people who believe in people. And what you heard from Justin and Patrick was belief and their commitment. I think that's probably what you heard out of them, because you could tell a phony a mile away, right? I mean, with your experience with managing people, you can tell who's lying to you and who isn't. I think that true commitment in their hearts is what really kind of what you saw, what you saw. So that fires me up, dude. Wow, you're very sharp, man. I'm very excited to meet you next week. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to shaking hands.
Absolutely. Well, bro, good stuff, man. Go Houston. Thank you. Who's next on the
and
Connors
if JC
Marketson?
Yeah, if JC disappears, he's still with us, but he's got to get back to his jobs thing. Man, I'm so excited to share this this next couple. Really, I can't wait to meet Kyler. I've talked to him, but Brittany. Okay, so Justin Margeson placed an ad in. We're going to have the conference in North Carolina. So he placed ads in Raleigh, and then he started doing rings, and everybody was placing ads in Raleigh, right? All of us have been through this. So it kept getting a wider ring, and he placed an ad in Charlotte. I think it's Charlotte. I'm not sure which ad she responded to. She lives she'll tell you, Maiden, I think, or something. But anyway, like within a couple days, she's in licensing school. She showed up on a team event, and on this little team Zoom that we had, she kept doing this. Like she kept looking sideways, and then her giant dog was like all over her lap and licking her face. Gunner, he's cute, giant, but she kept looking this way. So I was thinking, I wonder if we're getting a 2-for-1 special on this one. And sure enough, her fiance jumps in, and he's all excited. So that's who we're talking to.
Brittany and Kyler they're a couple.
Yeah, they're just not together right now because one's at work here and one's at work there.
So if you can show Brittany on the screen, that'd be great.
And I have to brag on her. She just passed her. No, she got licensed. She's got her license in hand 1 week before conference. Perfect timing.
Awesome. So can she be on the screen?
Yeah. Brittany, you got to tap your screen and hit unmute.
Oh, there she is. Awesome.
Hello.
So you just answered it. Tell us about your background. Like, what have you done in your career? And
Oh, well, I started out, I was managing a Smoothie King, and I was there for almost 5 years.
what?
And then a Smoothie King.
What is that?
Smoothie King. It's like
smoothies.
a smoothie shop.
Okay.
And I quit, and my mom is a kindergarten teacher at an elementary school, and she was like, "Come work here. Like you would do so good." So I started working at the school, and so now I'm a teacher's assistant and a bus driver. I've been doing that for the past few years, and finally, like a few months ago, I was like, I'm not happy. And I would talk to Kyler about it, and like I would tell him like how unhappy I was there. And I started sitting there, and I would sit there and I'd look through Indeed or ZipRecruiter for so long. And then finally I saw Justin's ad, and I was like, wow. And like it does seem too good to be true. But I was like, whatever. And I applied, and then within like a day, Justin had responded to me, and then he had called me while I was at work, and we talked for a little bit. And then that same night, I was on the Zoom call with them, and I was like, wow. I was like, it's real. Like it is actually what they're saying it is.
Absolutely. That kind of raised your belief level, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Cool. So Kyler was eavesdropping on the Zoom call. Is that what was going on, or?
Yeah.
he was listening in. So Kyler,
yeah.
tell us about you, Kyler.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So what's your background?
Basically, straight out of high school, I shipped out for basic training for the Marine Corps.
Oh man, thank you for your service.
I was in, no problem. I was in for probably a year, then gets separated with a back injury. After that, I moved into operating heavy equipment, kind of, had another job opportunity, switched there. Then I realized that wasn't for me. I wanted to work more with people, and, make money. So I started selling roofs for a roofing company. Really enjoyed doing sales. Things with that company didn't work out. So I ended up coming to a waterworks company where we nationwide sell all types of stuff where it comes with kind of like construction. I'm currently an inside sales representative for, this nationwide company. And that's really about it as of right now.
So why insurance? What was it about insurance?
Honestly, I'm not too sure yet. Like you said, I was definitely eavesdropping. Every Zoom meeting they have on Tuesday, I'm sitting right next to her, listening in. Patrick is definitely the star of the show when it comes to that. He cracks me up every Tuesday. Her first Zoom meeting, like you said, she kept looking over at me because I was talking to her. I was like, "Hey, that guy's funny." And then he was like, "Hey, get in here." And, he was trying to recruit me just off of that. And he was like, "Oh, we could, couples do it all the time," which I think is pretty awesome. How they say not to, work with your spouse or something like that. But this is a lot different. I think that, you have your own rules. You're like your own boss. So it's not like you're like right next to each other 24/7. So it's definitely something that could possibly be in my future. That's the main reason I want to go to this thing in Raleigh this next week and really see what it's all about.
What a great decision to see what it's all about. One thing for sure, it'll either blow you in or blow you out. We don't care which one, just at least you'll make a decision, right? And that's what events do. It'll help you make a quality decision that this might be something for you or not for you, So Brittany, how about you? What was it about learning about View from the Edge that caused you to want to come check it out?
It was Justin and Patrick. They would talk to me about it, and they've been talking to me about it since like my first Zoom call. And they're like, "It's so much fun." They send me all these videos. Both of them send me the same videos, but in different text messages. And it's the same exact thing. And they're like, "Watch these videos. It's so much fun. You're going to love it." And I watched them and I was like, that does look really fun. And finally, Justin was like, "Come on, are you gonna go?" And same with Patrick. He kept asking me, and I work for a school, so I don't make a lot of money. And they were like, "We got it. Like, you're just gonna get there. Just be there on Friday and be there before it starts." And so Justin's helped me out a lot. And he texts me and he's like, "So like what's your choice on the conference?" I was like, "We'll be there." And they both have just been really great. They've both been very supportive, and they're showing me how much fun it is. And it just seems like a really cool opportunity to go and learn.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. I can't wait to meet y'all. And I think it'll blow your mind. It'll be something like you've never experienced before. But probably more than anything else, like I've always said, that this particular event allows you to look inside yourself and see the possibilities that, the potential that you have inside you to do great things. If you've never made, 300,000 a year, by the time you're done, you'll see people that are making 300 grand and more, that you can actually do what they're doing, given time, skill, and never quitting. And I think the value of the event is that you will really decide that, what, this is worth my time, effort, and labor to make it happen. And so can't wait to meet y'all. Thanks, Patrick. You guys rock, man. Kyler and Brittany. This is so cool. Well, gang, there you have it, man. These are some of our best and brightest that are coming on. And look, the most important thing that you can do for your people, if you want to be a true servant leader, is number one, you need to go yourself. And number two, bring them with you, right? Bring them with you, whatever you got to do. Like when Brittany was talking about the Patrick and Justin, the tag team, I'm just thinking like she's sitting in this dark room with this hot spotlight on her face, pouring water on her. You're gonna go, you're gonna. But they were just killing her with kindness and with belief. And I think that's enthusiasm, and it's going to be fun. You're going to learn so much. It's an event to experience, whatever you need to do to really highlight what it's going to do for them. Because at the end of the day, it's a business, gang, and people are making business decisions. That's why the IRS lets us write off the expenses of going to events like this, because it's a business event. But it's more than that, because it will change your life. And I think the real key of servant leadership is to do, right? You learn to do, then you learn to teach, and then you teach the teachers. So there's 3 levels of learning. Learning to do, which a lot of you new people are coming in, learning to do the business of insurance. And then when you start developing a team, you're going to learn to teach your people by showing them and doing for them so they can do what you're doing, called duplication. And then when you get to the next level of duplication and leadership, you're teaching the teachers, right? Teaching the teachers on how to do what you just did. And that's where the multiplication happens. That's why having a large organization just perpetuates itself. I don't got to worry about directly coaching Mike and Noel, because they've got it, man. They've got it from here. And Patrick, and that's what happens when you duplicate leadership. But it starts by not being, I'm this big leader of this organization, you have to do what I say. It's the other way. It's servant leadership. So that's really the model that I'm going to go into real quick right here, because I think it's real important to understand really the concept of servant leadership and giving you really an idea of what it's about. So servant leadership. So this model is based on one of my favorite books. It's called The Servant by James C. Hunter. And this is just a really fantastic model. There's a lot of different models of servant leadership, but his is the one that I relate to the most, because he comes from a very Christian perspective, and the book reads like a story. So it's easy to read because it's a story, but he teaches some very specific things about his model of leadership. So I'm going to introduce that to you here if you've not read the book. So the servant leadership model, you can see it's leadership, authority, service and sacrifice, love and will, but you got to read it from the bottom up, because it's a reverse pyramid. In authoritarian type leaders like the military, you got the general who tells the colonels what to do, and the colonels tells the majors what to do, the major tells the captains what to do, captain tells the lieutenants what to do, lieutenant tells all the enlisted people what to do, right? It's sort of positional leadership, which that's the way the military works, and it has to work that way, because in war fighting, that's an important to have that type of authority. But warfighters also understand servant leadership too, because it's Leaders Eat Last. That's another great book on servant leadership. Leaders Eat Last. I think that's Simon Sinek. Obviously, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. So let's kind of cover this real quickly as we close out. So let's define these terms. So what is leadership? Leadership is the skill of influencing people to work enthusiastically towards their goals for the good of themselves, but also for the good of the organization. Really what we desire is what's good for you is going to be good for the alliance, right? And we are looking at building the alliance, because when we build the alliance, it's easier for us to build people to such a great opportunity that we call the alliance, right? So leadership is a skill of influence, but influence is built. So everything's a foundational to the one above it. So leadership is built on authority. So what is authority? Authority is the skill of getting people to do what they ought to do because of your personal influence, right? Like, for example, Patrick and Justin and Jonathan, they know the power that the events had on them to not only not quit, what to do this business and to make money doing the business and to be successful making money doing the business. So they have the authority because of what they've done, right? To get other people to do what they ought to do for them to be successful in this business because it's what they did. Now, what's authority built on? Authority is built on service and sacrifice. Service and sacrifice. This is the skill of identifying and meeting legitimate needs of those you serve. People that you bring on board the team, they all have wants. Everyone wants something, but you know, because you've been through it, you know what they need. Sometimes people, they want to know what's the best script, but you know what they need is they need to believe that whatever script they're using will work if they do it the way that the successful people do it, right? Sometimes what people want when they're starting out, they really don't know what they want. They think they want this, but what they really need is this. And you're there to service, to give them service. And sometimes you have to sacrifice to help them meet the needs that to move forward in the business. And I know like Jonathan, one thing I told him, I go, dude, how about if I buy your ticket? Would you be willing to come out? I mean, I was like bribing him, honestly, but not bribing him so much as telling him that, hey, man, if you're going to make a commitment, I'll make a commitment with you. I'm going to ante up some of my money. Okay, I'm going to ante up. I'm going to give to get from you. It's the idea of you reap what you sow. When you sow good seeds, you're going to reap a harvest. And I don't care what field you're sowing it. You could be sowing in other agents and other hierarchies, which I do all the time. And I've done that. I just do it because it's what the alliance does. We sow into other agents, even though we don't earn an override on them, because we always know that the harvest will come in our own backyard. The Lord will always bless those who serve and serve with the right intent, heart, and will, and to do his will. So you will reap what you sow. The service and sacrifice, that's how you build the authority. So what is service and sacrifice built on? It's built on love. Okay, so let me define love. Love is not the feeling. In fact, I would challenge you, you love your wife, but sometimes you don't feel love for her at certain times, right? It's not what love feels like. It's love, the verb, right? The verb of love. What does that mean? Love is what love does. It's really your behavior towards others, behavior towards your team, the behavior of what you want to do, what you need to do to help others. And it's really based on 1 Corinthians 13. Y'all heard this at every wedding, you probably, like most weddings that you've attended. And it's one of the best readings for weddings because it tells you what love is. It's what it does. Love is patient, right? You've got patience towards agents that drive you freaking crazy. Okay? You have patience with them because they're just learning like you did. Man, if your upline treated you like how you sometimes want to treat, your people, you probably wouldn't be in the business, right? So they've exercised patience, which is something you need to exercise as well. If you want to build a big team, if you want to be a servant leader, kindness, humility, respectfulness. Like one of my buddies, Scott Mills, I made an offhanded comment, which I just truly regret because I didn't realize it would hurt him as much. It was sort of a joke. And so, it's one of those things that I even forget. So I'm talking to me, okay? I'm coaching me on these things. But love is kind. Love is humility. Like you're not lording over everyone because you're the upline. In fact, it's like, what can I do for you to help you move forward? It's that mentality. Respectfulness, respecting people, right? I mean, everyone deserves to be treated the way that you want to be treated, right? But sometimes it means teaching them the hard things, telling them the hard things that they may not want to hear, because they think they need something else, but you're telling them what they need to hear in order to move them forward. But you're doing it out of respectfulness, the dignity of, their agency, the dignity that they're a child of God that deserves the same respect as you do, right? Because everyone's made in the image and likeness of God, right? The idea of selflessness, which is the opposite of selfishness, is you only do for others beyond what their family would do for them. to me, that is the ultimate. When you talk about loving people and putting the effort in, is that you're willing to do stuff for them that other people wouldn't do. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I remember, I'm not going to say it because it makes it sound anyway. Forgiveness. Like, man, you got to have a short memory on being offended, right? Here's the thing. When you freely forgive others, then you deserve forgiveness from a heavenly Father, right? You know, it's the parable of the servant, right? Who was forgiven his debts, and then that servant goes out and like strangles the other guy. Hey, pay me what you owe me. Yeah, right. The master learned about it and said, okay, man, you didn't exercise the same forgiveness I gave you, you know, that's time to pony up and go into jail, right? Forgiveness, honesty, being truthful, man. Be truthful with people. Don't sugarcoat. In fact, sugarcoating's sometimes not good. Okay, being respectful, but be honest. Be honest with people because people really want to know what it really takes to make this thing work. They need to know the trials and tribulations they're going to go through. You need to manage their expectations, right? Nothing worth doing is easy. Okay. And then finally, commitment. Love is commitment. Love is commitment to the people that you bring on board your team. Look, you were blessed to have them on your group, right? Whether they do anything is not up to you. Whether they do something's up to them, but showing them the example of what you need to be for them and what they need to be to make this business work is a commitment to making sure that you are always looking at improving yourself, coming out to events, doing everything you can to be the best version of yourself, the best that you can be, man. And when you're doing that, people will cut you slack. They know that you're not perfect, right? No one ever, I'm the least, right? When I think of myself, man, I'm the biggest sinner. Like I need the biggest forgiveness. You know, that's why I pray all the time because I constantly need forgiveness from my Father in heaven, who is unabounding in his mercy. And I always put myself in that position when I pray, because when I help other people, man, when I pray for them, and here's the ultimate, I think, act of love is when you pray for your people that you bring on board your team. I pray for my people every day, twice a day, actually, the morning and the evening. And throughout the day when I talk to them, I say a prayer when I have a coaching call before, and I say a prayer after when I'm done with a coaching call, that they may receive the proper insight, that the Lord gave me the proper words to energize them to do what they need to do, right? So to me, self-service and sacrifice is built on this idea of love, the verb. And then finally, what's love built on? Love is built on will. What is will? Will is defined. So let's talk about the opposite, okay? Intentions minus action equals squat. Squat meaning nothing. You might have the greatest intentions, but if you don't put any actions behind your intentions, then you will get squat, and you will get squat from your people, right? All the intentions of the world is a paved way to hell, okay? But now when you couple intentions with actions, that's will. When you're congruent between your intentions and actions, that's when you have the will, right, to then do what you need to do to love people. And then when you love people, you're willing to service them and sacrifice for them, right? The proper will. And then when we meet the legitimate needs of others, then we will be called to service and sacrifice. We're going to be working and we're going to be helping them. You know, some people who may not, you know, be the most likable people in the world, but, you know, we're not asked to like people. We're asked to love people, right? You can not like someone, but you can still love them by serving them, right? Sacrificing for them. Eventually you'll win them over like Jesus did, right? So when we serve and sacrifice for others, we build the authority or the influence. Again, the law of harvest, you reap what you will sow. When you serve people and sacrifice for people, even if they don't even know, it's not like you're telling them what you're sacrificing, but you personally give your time, energy, and effort, sometimes your money, to sacrificing people. You're going out to serve them by traveling. You're doing it on your dime. You're not expecting anything in return other than, hey, if I sow into you, then the law of reciprocity says, you will sow back to me. You will be the harvest of my sown seeds, of my sown effort, my sown love. And here's the ultimate. When we build authority with people, the influence, because we serve them and sacrifice for them out of love, because we have the intention lined up with our action, then we deserve to be called a leader. It's like what Andy Albright is for me. He deserves to be called my leader because he's done every one of these things for me. And that's my model of a servant leader, is when I see what Andy Albright's always done and things I don't even know. I don't know probably half of the things he's done for me that he doesn't let me know, but he does it because he loves me and he wants to see me succeed. And he's exercised his authority because of what he's done on the service and sacrifice for me. He does it out of love and because his intentions line up with his actions. So I better get off that or else I'll start weeping like a baby. Anyway, man, thank you, Andy, for being this for me. And hopefully y'all will be this for other people. Now, here's the thing. What new people will go through, and you have to understand, remember when you were new? Okay. As a leader, servant leader, you have to anticipate what your people are going to go through. You know, it was this, in fact, let me, it's the emotional cycle of change. So I've got 6 minutes. No, I have 4 minutes. As leaders, servant leaders, you need to anticipate what your people are going to go through. So when people are excited, they get in, they're fired up, right? They have uninformed optimism. So at the top of the curve on the emotional stage, they're just fired up, right? And then over time, they start realizing that I got to make these calls, but not everyone's receptive. I've got these people yelling at me. People are bitching me out. People are not showing up on their meetings. And they start getting a dose of reality of what it's going to take to get through it, get through that. And sometimes they don't even see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? And this is where you as a servant leader need to kick in, anticipating that they're going to go through this, right? And you need to love on them. You need to give them what they need. You need to encourage them to get to hotspot meetings, to get around the belief, to get around the people. See, because people will believe as other people believe, but the only way they can capture that belief is to be at the same place where those people that believe are, like hotspot meetings, boot camps, and all 4 events. And we've talked about it here. They're going to go through this second phase, and then they'll hit the valley of despair. And this is the crux on whether they stay in or they quit, right? Stage 3, the valley of despair. And you as a servant leader needs to know when your people don't contact you, that they're probably hovering right here. And this is the stage where they either quit or they stay in. And a lot of people stay in because of something you said, or a Zoom call they were on, they heard something they needed to hear, or they went to an event because they know they needed something. They didn't know what it was exactly that they needed. But then they hear that thing. They get motivated to stay in one more day, to make one more phone call, right? And they start to see a little bit of glimmer of success, another glimmer of success. And you are there as a servant leader, edify them, to help them, to educate them on the little pitfalls here and there and underwriting, whatever you need to do to move them up the curve, pushing through the failure to get to the success. And they start getting into stage 4, where now they're smarter, informed optimism. They're optimistic because they see the success happening, right? And then continuing to show them the value of building an agency and bring other people on and going to events with your people, like what Jonathan did, doubled his group 2 to 4. But you know what? He'll double it again, and he'll double it again. I'd take that any day of the week. And then stage 5, success and fulfillment. And there are ways to go up there. And it's called building a dream for yourself of what you want your life to be. That's way bigger, way bolder, way badasser. Okay, that's a word. Okay, that will blow your mind. But you will not get there until you get there. And then you see that what you thought was a peak is only you're above the clouds now. You see another peak on which you can move towards. And that's the beauty of this business, because there's always more peaks and more mountains to climb, because like John Maxwell says, success is always uphill. So Alliance Nation, man, thank you so much for being with us. And I'm proud of y'all on this call. Gang, if you've heard anything, you've heard that servant leadership is about getting people to do what they need to do to move their business on. And one of the things that you need to do, I will say you need to do, you absolutely need to do, because I'm Alex Abuyuan and I'm your friend. I love you. Okay? You need to be at View from the Edge. Borrow the money from your mama, man. Ask her for your early Christmas gift. Whatever you need to do to get, like I think the ticket's $4.99, but I know there are $2.99 tickets running around. I know we have a few. Well, I don't know if we have any more left, but there are people with the $2.99 tickets. Whatever it takes, even if you have to pay full price, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Your dream is worth it. You deserve it. You're made in the image and likeness of God Himself, so you are worthy. You are worthy of that investment. So rock on, gang. God bless everybody. Alliance Nation, Abuyuan team is out.